Hi, my name is Aisha Imdad, and I'm exhibiting my show, The Allegorical Gardens, at Women and Their Work Gallery in Austin. When I'm looking at gardens, I look at them from a different point of views. Like if you look at the literature, or in this case a biography or a fiction, you come across gardens which do not exist in reality, but they are there. Like I painted 10 Miles Peach Blossom, which is part of a fictional story and part of Chinese mythology. But these gardens do not exist in real world, but I wanted to paint them because they sounded and very beautiful the way the author has written about them. And then there are gardens which are historical gardens protected by UNESCO, and they are like Mughal gardens. And those gardens are something I wanted to study and learn about the kind of flora and fauna they had or could have had when they were alive and fully blooming. And then the third category which I worked with in these gardens was the real garden, the present day garden, which I had the chance to study at Denver Botanic Gardens. And I made paintings which are focusing on their main features, like the Monet Pond, and then there was another painting which was focusing on their champion trees and different aspects of those gardens. One thing I learned through my research in different kinds of gardens from different cultures is that everyone in the end is talking about the same thing. It's just how we approach it. So everybody wants to have a beautiful, calm, tranquil space where one can go and just be happy and have a joyful moment. And that is the same in all cultures. But there is a lot of symbolism and different ways of looking at that changes. In miniature painting, borders are very important, and they are called hashiyas in Persian language, because that's where the miniature painting originally originated from. These hashiyas or borders, they are extremely intricate, and they have beautiful geometric patterns and vegetal patterns, and there are birds and animals going in certain rhythm, and you have to work with that. Traditional miniature paintings are very vibrant because they were supposed to be manuscripts and supposed to be held in hand. So they had these very vibrant color schemes and these highly ornamental borders with gold and all these different things in it. In traditional miniature painting, you don't have a perspective. So the perspective is something which you do in a realistic thing. Miniature painting is about not usually about that. It's about something which is imaginative, or about some king and stories of the king and all those. So the perspective is never there. The scale in my latest work in the Allegorical Garden was a big challenge. I had never worked at this scale in my painting, so I had to really push myself. And of course, the intricate details had to remain the same. So I did not want to change the scale of the work on the paper. I wanted to keep it the same as I would do on a smaller scale painting. And I had to take 3 to 4 months on each painting, because the scale was big, but the work was extremely intricate. And try to weave different things in the painting in different ways. So there are symbols, there are there are facts, there are stories which are just put together in a way that if somebody actually knows about the Conference of Birds or more about Simurgh, they will understand what I'm talking about. But even if you don't, these details are very exciting. They are creating different layers in the history, like the stories which are coming together in the painting. They are again the layers in the thought process. My work is based on research, and I do a thorough research on each painting or the series which I'm making. Like in the Peach Blossom Garden, I also painted Simurgh. Now Simurgh is a bird which is a mythical bird. It does not exist in real world, so I felt that that is a perfect bird to be in the garden of peach blossoms, because in symbolic language it's not really a bird, it's kind of a place in your heart where you go and you look inside yourself. If you are truthful towards yourself, you will be able to see Simurgh. If you are not truthful towards yourself, you will never see Simurgh. I kind of thought that I needed to now move forward and create immersive experience for the audience, so that they can hear the sound, they can smell the fragrances of the floral fragrances of the garden, and they can also maybe touch the nature in some way. The music in itself is based on sounds, different sounds put together, like the bird song of the quail, and then the wind, and then the water sounds. They're put together in a musical piece which is extremely calming, and it should bring happiness and joy and calmness to one's self by listening to that. But when I was growing up, there was this specific fragrance that would come out at the night time, and that was from the jasmine flowers. They would be such a heady, perfumed atmosphere, and if you walk out in the garden, you are immediately hit by it, and you're like, and then you hear the bird singing. It is beautiful, and that is something I wanted to capture with the fragrance here. So I added jasmine flower as a floral fragrance to be in the space over here in the allegorical gardens. The wishing tree outside is my way of making people go out and interact with the tree, and in the process learn to respect tree, and in the process they also are interacting with nature, giving away writing their wish and sending it to the nature, and maybe the nature listens and comes back and they find that their wish is coming true. The wishing trees was kind of was attached to my idea of immersive experience for the audience. I wanted them to go out and touch the real nature. So when I was doing that, I decided to come up to the audience. One, that garden is a place of joy and happiness, and one should visit gardens, be near nature, go near nature, especially now that people are living in urban cities. The interaction with nature is becoming less and less. And then there is another aspect to it, that we must let other species live with us, and we must respect nature.